Welcome, Turn Down for What fans. We are here at Talladega tonight. I am joined in the booth tonight. You out there?
Yes.
All right, Riley. We're here at Talladega. We've been to Daytona. We've been to iRacing Superspeedway. Now we're out here at Talladega Superspeedway, the track that everybody always expects to be very, very fast. A lot of fast-paced passing. Quick moves, things like that. Some drivers hate that, but some drivers really enjoy the fast-paced kind of adrenaline that it takes to drive around this track. I'm not sure who to pick tonight. I'm looking at a few of the guys that I have over in KS Gaming with Pacey Wygant. Where's the rest of them? James Munch is over there. Um, I don't see the other ones. Chris Murphy and Mike Hunter should be joining soon as well. So, but yeah, there's a few guys out there I'll be rooting for. There's always that normal super speedway guru is what I call him. Josh Arnold, J-Paw, sitting out there, always a dangerous thing. But lately, it's been Cole Snyder or Zach Meredith that's been winning these super speedways. What are you seeing from practice, and who are you watching?
Well, right now in practice, well, two of the names you mentioned are in the top three right now for practice times. However, also Cole Snyder did win Daytona. I remember watching that race. I wasn't here for that, but I remember watching it and seeing him win. So I think he's going to be up there. Hunter Peach has been pretty good on these super speedways, so I think he'll be up there. I think we're just going to see a lot of comers and goers all race. It's really hard to just pick one certain driver because that's just the way Talladega and Daytona are. You get in those packs, it's really somewhat easy to move up and also hard to move up because if everyone's three wide, you're not going anywhere unless one line starts moving.
That's very true. I mean, we don't know who or where, that big one could happen too. So um,
I don't
there's a
think it's a
lot.
could happen. I think it's going to
I'm
happen.
hoping it doesn't happen. I hope we have some really smooth, clean um, racing where guys are not making moves that are maybe a little questionable. At least until the end. I really hope guys kind of get in line, tick off some laps. Um, I've seen strategy be played here. I've seen caution fest played here. I've seen, just clean, smooth racing, and that's what I'm kind of hoping for. I'm kind of hoping for that clean, smooth racing. I'm looking for guys to be, making the moves, but not being too pushy off the bat. Maybe the first half of the race just kind of, relaxed and just ticking off the laps and things like that, rather than going out there and making a questionable move on lap one or lap five and wrecking the field. We have no fast repairs anymore for this league. They got rid of them, so that's kind of why I don't want guys to go out here. We only have a small field tonight. I think there's only supposed to be like 15 or 16 in the field. We got 13 on track as of right now, so I really don't want to see somebody go out there and turn one and spin the leader, and the leader comes back across and wipes out the whole field, and we got a whole field race here of trucks that are all damaged up and everything like that. I'd rather keep that to the very end. If you want to
Yeah.
wreck everybody off of turn four or coming through the tri-oval, I'm okay with that. But I don't want to see that on the first lap. That's not something I want to see tonight.
I think the way most of these Daytona Talladega races go, you usually kind of right off the bat you see a lot of like you see some guys really trying to make up positions right away, kind of put themselves into more up front earlier in the race, and then it seems like now I'm only going based off of like real life for this, but it's like you see a lot of guys or some guys will just right away drop to the back. They want to wait to the end. There's other guys that they want to be up there right away, and then everything seem the first couple of laps always seem to really get like they seem to get pretty crazy on the early couple of laps because everyone's trying to move around for positions, find their spot, and then it kind of settles down. And then by the end of the race, everyone starts making their move again. But also, as you said, since there is no fast repair, I think it's going to be. I mean, honestly, you might be. Well, I don't know if they're going to just stay calm. I think right away some guys are going to try and make some moves to put themselves in better spots later in the race, and there's going to be some people that just kind of decide, hey, we're just gonna ride where we are because there's no point trying to be aggressive right now.
Oh yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there that probably agree. Uh, but you never know what we'll get. They've got a lot of teammates out here, got a lot of guys that are friends. Um, so do those groups pack up? Usually happens. So we'll see what happens here. But I'm hoping for the guys within my team. Obviously, a little bit of a I guess I'm pulling for just those guys, but I mean, there's other guys out here. I mean, Papa Bear, who runs the league here, it turned down for what? I'd love to see him come out here and get a win. Um, there's a couple others that have been here for a long time. I haven't seen an iRacing win from them. Um, another one of my guys, Mike Honcho, Jeff Ludnam. I'd love to see him come out here and get his first win in the regular season. Um, but looking
Well,
at
these
the
races could do
points
that.
here, that's what's kind of the problem. If anybody's trying to get to the lead, they've got to go through the top three, and the top three is pretty closely battled right now between Hunter Peach, Josh Arnold, and Nate Lehman. And I wouldn't count out Byron Jones or Cole Snyder either. They're still within striking distance. It's not that many races left. There's 5 after this race, so 6 races together. But there's still a good amount of time where guys can make up stuff. J-Paw has not had a win this season, but we're at a super speedway. I call him the super speedway guru for a reason. So this could be his chance to get that first win of the truck season. Byron Jones does not have a win this season. Chris Murphy does not have a win this season. Papa Bear, Mike Concho, Ryan McCall, they're all in the top 10 in points, and they don't have wins. Only Jose Ruiz, Cole Snyder, Hunter Peach, and Nate Lehman have made up for the wins that are in the top 10 in the points. But I see them ending up practice, and they're going to go into qualifying. So let's go ahead and throw that big salute to the national anthem. Big red, white, and blue on there. Big salute to all the men and women out there who defend and protect. And we'll be right back. All right, back out on track. We're waiting for the qualifying to get over with. I'm seeing 19 in the field actually tonight, or actually 18 because counting me. But yeah, 18 in the field. Tyler Dohar is making his appearance here in the Truck Series. Hunter Peach, Chris Murphy, Nate Lehman. Looks like Shad Swatchfoods actually made it tonight. I thought earlier he told me he wasn't going to be able to make it, at least in the group chat. But JB Banner's here in the field. Josh Arnold, Cole Snyder, Chase McGuire, um, Pacey Wygant, Papa Bear Campbell, Mike Allen, Ryan McCall. Let's see who else made it tonight. James, I keep want to say Mensch, but I'm not sure how to say his last name. Zachary Meredith is here tonight. Jeff Lundum. The roster keeps getting spun up on me, but yeah. So Jake Banner. There's a good amount of good drivers here, and now that Chad's here in the field, I don't know. This gets really interesting between him, Pacey. Um, those two are usually really fast at super speedways. They end up usually getting caught up in other people's messes or making a mistake themselves. But J Paw's in the field, Tyler Dilhar's in the field. That's a pretty good stacked 4 right there. And then that's not even counting Zach Meredith, Cole Snyder. I don't see Enrique Quiones tonight, so that would have been another pick for me to see if he'd have been here tonight. But I mean, there's a lot of good drivers in tonight. This could be a crapshoot on who can make it up to the front and stay up front. I know from group chats, I've heard people saying about staying up front. I've heard people saying about trying to stay towards the back. I've heard even people saying I'm going to drop off a couple seconds and just ride around for a few. Um, I don't think the strategy really matters. I think you can get wrecked from the front. You can get wrecked from 10th place. You can get wrecked from 20th place. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you're at. The caution bug can definitely catch anybody at any moment on this track.
Yep. There's all about the like what you were talking about. There's like the like they kind of go with the like many drivers would go with those like different strategies. Some people just like staying behind it, as you said, and that's if there's a wreck, well, they can see it in front of them. They'll kind of see where to go. But then there's other people that are thinking, well, if you're in the back, if the wreck's in the back, then you're going to get caught up, and either way, you have to drive through it. But if you're in the front, you can keep the wreck behind you. But either way, you can get wrecked from any of those places. See it every time.
Yeah, I mean, I traditionally like to stay back a couple seconds off pace with a good group of drivers that I can communicate with, in a Discord chat or something. When we were over on Xbox side, you obviously had Xbox chat, so staying in those type of things, that's where I would probably stay back and be able to communicate real quick and say, wreck coming, slow down, get off pace, pitting, all of that stuff comes into play when you can really communicate with the guys around you. Unfortunately, the NASCAR drivers do not have that ability. Their spotters can talk to each other, but they don't really
I mean,
have that
they used
option.
to have that ability back in 2011, I think it was. They could communicate
Yeah,
to
I'm
each
sure that
other.
got rough. I'm sure
Oh
the
yeah,
communication went from real nice to real negative in some of the points. But yeah, I mean,
for a
that's what
bit.
I would do. I would sit back and relax and wait. Um, I mean, we've got 80 laps to Talladega. I wouldn't even really think about it until like lap 60. They should be able to get somewhere around, I think, 17 to 20 for fuel for this. I would probably pit 3 times and wait, and then make up my time then. Unless a caution came out, I would not be taking tires. I wouldn't touch tires probably the entire race. Unless a caution came out, it'd be fuel only. So, but we'll see what these guys do. Looks like qualifying has wrapped up, and the grid is coming up on screen now. And we'll be able to see who got the pole today. All right, looks like it is going to be the new guy, Tyler Dohar, coming in first with the pole. Shad Swatsworth starting second on the outside row. Mike Papa Bear Campbell gonna be starting in third tonight on that inside row in the second row. Christopher Murphy, my other team driver there, starting the outside behind his teammate Shad Swatsworth. Nate Lehman going to be starting fifth in that 14. That is the point series leader right now. Sitting behind him in second place is going to be the next driver, Josh Arnold, who also is going to be in a Ford, starting sixth. Mike Allen in that 88 machine will be on the inside row on seventh row. JB Banner in the 09 will be in the 8th position. Pacey Wygant starting in the 00 in ninth. Cole Snyder in the 24 machine will be in 10th. Riley, go ahead and take the next group there.
Mike Campbell starting 11th. He's in the 11 truck. Chase McGuire starting in 12th on the outside. Hunter Peach down on the inside line of 13th position. 14th is Jeff Lednam. Sorry, I almost mispronounced that there. Jake Banner starting in 15th, and it looks like he had about 4 other trucks that all decided to skip qualifying. 16th will be Jose Ruiz, Zachary Meredith in 17th, Ryan McCall in 18th, and James Moench 19th.
Yeah, we'll just go with James in the 94
Yeah,
until I can get an official of how to say his last name on that one.
yeah. I'm afraid to mispronounce names that well. So I'm not good at pronouncing names that well, so I just try and learn it as time goes on. So it'll be easier just to stick with that.
Yeah, race info for tonight. Obviously, it's the big Superspeedway, 2.5 miles, or a little over 2.5 miles. Track temp tonight, 128. If I'm reading that correctly, that is a scorcher. for Alabama temperature at Talladega. Air temp is only 79, so the sun is beating on this track, and we're going to have up to, actually, it looks like it says it just moved to 129. So, possible 130-degree temperatures tonight at Talladega on track. That is going to be a massive, scorching, hot, slick track. We should be in for a interesting race.
Yeah, we need lights here. Let's make these a night race.
Yeah. I wish they would put lights around this place. I know they have problems with how big the track is and how far they'd have to go with the lighting and electrical work and all that kind of
You'd
stuff.
You'd have to only go point.
Well, the problem is how wide the track is. You'd have to put lights up
Yeah.
everywhere on this thing to light it up. I mean, Daytona is obviously a little bit different because it's really 2 to 3 grooves. This is, massive wide, and then you got the whole backstretch that's, completely all the way to the wall, where you could fit, 15 lanes. But
Auto Club in Michigan, I believe, are two of the widest tracks, aren't they? And
they're pretty close. Yeah.
I know Auto Club can run night races. They have lights all around it, so hey, it'd be cool if Talladega could get lights, but that could be. But it is only 2 degrees more than Daytona, so that.
Yeah.
I don't know, unless it's just like lights maybe haven't really been needed. I think if they really wanted to put lights, they probably could.
Coming off of turn 4, Tyler Dohar going to lead him to the green flag. Shad Swadsworth on the outside row in that one. Going to try to get a jump with his teammate Chris Murphy right behind him. And we are green for Talladega. Turned down for What Truck Series. 6 races to go, including this one. Who will be our champion? Nate Lehman is our point leader as of right now, sitting in the top 10 to start this race. But it is a long 80 laps here. We'll see if these guys make it through turn 1 without cutting each other off and making cautions happen. But I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of tandem pushing to try to help each other. I don't think you're going to see like that 3 and 4 car pushing. I think you're going to see a lot of tandem. And here we go. Everybody's getting spread out on the backstretch going into 3. We're almost 3 wide. We are, good decision right there. Duck down to the inside line and make it 2 wide.
Yeah, we were seeing some tandeming right off the bat here because a couple of trucks on that outside line have really got together and they are shoving their way up front through the tri-oval.
And it looks like J-Paw and Pacey Wygen have teamed up, or at least gone to the outside row with Shad and Chris Murphy. Pacey and J-Paw now on the outside by themselves, 2 wide back there. They're going to try to take the lead from the bottom row, and that outside line seems to be carrying all the momentum right now. That's what we were talking about there, is where they came off the start of the race there. That outside line had the momentum and was able to get by, but Shad and Chris able to duck down. Now it looks like that bottom row is getting gathered together, but a few more drivers are bouncing into that outside row to follow J-Paw. There's not somebody really better to follow than J-Paw at a Superspeedway, so you see him get out front, you get behind him real quick, and you tag along.
That outside line, I keep noticing it keeps getting those runs and it pulls right up dead even, and even sometimes they even take over the lead from the outside line, but then it seems like as you kind of go down into the corner, now with a number of more guys pulling up to that outside line, the outside line is going to become that much more stronger. But usually the inside line's always fighting back on that bottom line, and sometimes I'm noticing that the outside line, sometimes when it falls back, it's kind of because the pair that was pushing each other get a little bit separated.
Yeah, a lot of the guys want to run that bottom line. I prefer running the middle to outside line. That's where I like to be. I don't like being pinched and stuck down there on that bottom line. I don't feel like I carry the momentum, the speed that the top line does, and even 2 or 3 cars in the outside row can pull up alongside a bottom line of a good amount of cars, and we just saw that. What's funny, though, is J-Paw actually wrote in the chat as soon as qualifying ended, and in his message he said, ran a bad qualifying lap, don't worry, be at the front soon. And within a few laps, J-Paw was at the front. So called his shot, and he is out front side by side with Shad Swadsworth, trading that position back and forth as they go. More cars are jumping to that outside row. We're almost even on the outside and inside row now. They are stacking up 2 by 2 as we go. Really clean so far, no real issues, nobody really making those dicey moves or anything like that. They're really staying calm. Hopefully this continues as we're only 4 laps into this race.
Yeah, also this is, I mean, this is pretty exciting just watching the side by side, but I'm expecting at some point in time we're going to see a little bit of 3 wide, probably for a moment. We did see 3 wide right off the start of the race for a little bit, but now I think for now we'll be holding probably double file. I don't really expect everybody to be single file like you usually kind of see in real life, but right now the outside line has just gotten a little bit stronger, but the inside line always seems to just be fighting back. It just stays even. Don't let any, no line seems to be given an inch whatsoever.
Absolutely. I mean, the outside line should prevail after a certain amount of laps here. If they can stick together, if they don't start bailing on each other, well, as I say that, J-Bob goes to the bottom line. So he goes down to the bottom line, takes the lead from the bottom line. Now Tyler Dilhar is going to be on the outside line being pushed by Pacey Wygen, who's being pushed by his teammate, Mike Honcho, Jeff Ludnam right there. And then behind him, it looks like that is, I want to say, Cole Snyder out there on the outside in that 24, sitting in the 4th row, if you're looking at that. And then the bottom line stacked up now is J. Paw Shad, Chris Murphy, and then Mike Papa there. Tyler Dohart now switches lines too. I can't believe they're all bailing on the bottom.
I didn't even think he was really that clear. I thought, I mean, it looked like Joshua Arnold was, I didn't think Tyler was actually really clear to come down, but he got it to work. Now Shad's jumped up to the top line. He's trying to take the lead.
Yeah, I don't think Shad wants to stay down there on the bottom. So, I have a feeling he's going to be coming up on the outside line, trying to work that line and get it stacked up together.
The thing I'm noticing is, like, when someone takes the lead on the outside, they drop down to the bottom, and then the cars behind them that were already on the bottom decide to move up to the outside.
Yeah, that outside row, though, that's got 3 teammates in a line there. That's Shad, Pacey, and Mike Honcho, Jeff Ludnam, 3 teammates right there. They're going to look for that 4th teammate down there on the bottom line in that Black Rifle Company 21 with the orange number on the roof. That is their 4th teammate out there. And then you got James in the 94 somewhere out there too. So they've got 3 lined up. Now they just need the 4th one and they'll be good to go. But it looks like, I want to say that's, who is that in that car? Can't tell who it is. Is that Mike Allen? On the outside row. In the multicolored car. I'm seeing a 3 on the side of it.
Unfortunately, I forgot to turn on trading paint, so a lot of cars are just in the same.
I think it is Mike Allen.
Similar colors for me.
All right, so it is Mike Allen, but he is running a Good Wrench number 3 paint scheme, and that's what was throwing me off. So he doesn't have his traditional 88 tonight. But he is showing up on the ticker as the 88, so that's what was throwing me off there. But yeah, so that's Mike Allen on the outside, with right behind the black and white of Jeff Ludnam. Being led by that line is Shad Swadsworth in the Bass Pro number 1 car, but that bottom line does have Tyler Dohar and J-Paw stacked up, ready to go.
The outside line, Shad just gets ahead there, but not for long. The bottom line has now just pulled even off of turn 4.
Yeah, I think we're going to see this for a little while until guys really get closer to the fuel range, which should be about 16 to 20 laps. I don't think they'll be able to go further than that, not in these trucks and not the way that we have the percentage dropped in the fuel. I believe it's down to 60%, so they should have to pit between that 16 to 20 lap range, which should put them in about 3 pit stops, 4 pit stops possibly, a dash and go of fuel. And I don't see, I really don't think anybody is going to take tires unless we have a caution. So they should be really quick pit stops. We should see pit stops ranging between 3 to 8 seconds long, 3 to 9 seconds long. Shouldn't be any longer than that to put 2 cans of fuel in.
I'm starting to see a little bit of a second pack here forming with these 6 cars kind of behind. Looks like they're really just trying to sit at the tail end. Watch, you got a couple guys on the bottom line that are really just trying to looks like the O2 with Jake Banner and Chase McGuire, they're hanging on to that front pack, but it really doesn't seem like they want to push their car. They don't want to push their truck up too far, let there be a wreck, and now they got nowhere to go. It seems like they're just trying to keep their distance, but at least close enough to stay in that draft.
Being with these drivers, as soon as you get up to that bumper, you really can't see anything out front. So you have to look to the left or the right. You have to trust the guy in front of you is going to continue to lead you in the right direction. You hear Chris Murphy right there burping it a little bit. That's kind of a product of you don't want to run the guy over in front of you. You can't push the pusher. So if you are going to burp it, you're going to conserve a little bit of fuel. That's the problem I have with being the leaders of each row. You can't conserve fuel unless you're dragging the brake or letting off just a little bit, but then that's going to slow the field down, which then can create multiple passes all over the place and can cause problems. So I'd be surprised to see anybody try to pull that move, but you'll definitely hear people burping it or letting off the pedal just a little bit going into the corners usually as they suck up on that guy in front of them. You'll see Chris here driving out the windshield. He's looking at J-Paw's bumper. Getting closer, there he let off just a little bit, gets back into the gas, and they're going to try to drag through the tri-oval and make the pass on the outside road.
I think there are also a lot of guys where it's like don't keep their foot down the throttle and then let off. There's some guys that really only kind of hold half throttle the entire time, and that helps out saving fuel because the draft is just going to keep pulling you right along where you don't even have to run full throttle to catch back up to them. You can just run half throttle, you'll catch back up, and then if you feel like you need to back off a little bit to try and keep that distance, well then you lift to a quarter throttle and then you're back to half throttle and you're kind of closing back in. That says like the further back you go in the pack. I think the closer you are up towards the front, you're going to be a little more on the throttle, except for the leaders, they're all the way down.
Yeah, and you might see the leaders, like right there, you kind of saw the outside row get a run. But what that can also be is the leader will drag a brake a little bit to try to back up, because once he gets the push from the guy behind him, you can get pushed out too far. And that can allow the second placeman to actually go around you if there is room on the outside row. He can duck up to that outside row and go right on by you, because then the next person in line, which would essentially be third on the bottom row, has a lot more room to get to you. So it takes a little while for that air to build up on the back bumper again to really push you through the corner. So that can happen as well, but you'll see the leaders usually drag a brake a little bit, and that will help the guy behind them be right on that back bumper to really be pushing them through the corners. You don't see them drag the brake the whole time or anything, but you will see them drag just a little bit. That's why you'll see a lot of these times where you'll see the cars go from the outside line to the bottom line. You'll see the outside line pull forward, and then the bottom line will have a big run and come by, and then the outside row will come up and go by, and then the inside, it's a complete back and forth for as long as we're green. And I'm hoping we're green for a while tonight, so this race is not going to be super long. It shouldn't be super long if we continue to go green just like we are right now. Lap 15 is what we're coming up around, so we should start seeing green flag stops coming up soon.
Wait, I thought I just saw something. Never mind. I was seeing ghosts out there now. Also, you never want to be the sitting duck, like guys, oh, there's something right there now. Tyler Dohart kind of just came up and really kind of ran him up the line there a bit. Shad really had to check up there on that outside line. That slows down both lines a bit, keeps them side by side. And well,
I think Dohart really slid up out of the line there, and Shad was coming down at the same time to try to kind of side draft, so it was kind of just being in the wrong place, wrong time. But yeah, Shad definitely backed it up, but he was able to communicate with his teammate. The 0-0 there right on his rear with also his next teammate of Mike Honcho and Jeff Ludnam. But you see, like, look at the bottom line. There's at least 15 cars in that bottom line. The outside row only has 6, but they're able to stay side by side with them. So that's where if the outside line's got to stack up.
Is those first 4 trucks are on the outside line, they seem to be a lot closer to each other on like being on their bumper. Meanwhile, it doesn't matter if the inside line's got 15 cars. Some of these guys are at least 3-4 truck lengths behind each other.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But
So
um,
those pushes from the outside line are going to be a whole lot more stronger.
yeah, the
I
other
think that's
thing
where
that, like I was saying about the accordion, you'll see the guy who's behind the leader. They'll back up a little bit. They'll come with a big head of steam and push the leader, and then they'll back up a little bit. That's when you see the leader hitting the brake or dragging the brake a little bit. But that's what they got to do to stack up to really get the runs. But it just looks better from the outside row right now. They look to be a little more in sync, and that could be because there was teammates, 3 teammates in a row. You can't push the pusher, so the third placeman did not have to worry about being on the back bumper of the second placeman on the outside. And Pacey in second at the 0-0 was able to push his teammate in the 1 without having to worry about being hit in the back. So a lot of team communication most likely is a product there. But now those 2 teammates are leading both lines, so they can kind of control where this race goes. And when we do have green flag stops, which should be coming up here, that might be what's happening here. These guys are getting synced up and letting Pacey down to the bottom there. You might see Honcho do the same thing if he can clear on the outside row, duck down to the bottom line, and you'll have the 3 teammates in a row again with their 4th teammate only 2 cars behind them, or 2 trucks behind them.
I'm seeing a lot of guys, they're getting already single file back in that second half of the pack, and now they've just closed in, just caught the tail end. Now you only got 3 trucks on the outside line. I think they're all going to be coming down pit road. Well, not all of them, but I mean, you're going to see separate packs start coming down pit road. Probably in the next couple of laps here, I think everyone kind of just knows, hey, green flag pit stops are coming up. Let's kind of calm down so we don't wreck during that.
Yeah, you'll hear a lot of guys talking on the race chat during the race. They'll just use that push to talk, and they'll come across and talk to all the drivers and usually give warnings. But some people don't do that. They just communicate with their team members, and they're like, hey, we're going this lap. But me personally, I like to put the guy behind me who's not going to run over me when I drop down. But here at Talladega, you don't see them running over each other on track. You see them running over each other as they get to the pit lane line, because some guys brake way before others do. Some guys try to brake it, right as you get to the line and slow up to try to make up as much time as you can getting into pit. And then you'll see them doing the same thing coming out of pit, where they try to make up as much time as they can getting through the gears. So I like to communicate as much as possible when it comes to pit road, because I do not want to be spun out on pit road. I'd rather be spun on the track, flipped up in the air, than be spun on pit road.
You get spun on pit road, your race is over, or something that really shouldn't have happened. If you wreck on the racetrack, well, that's just a different story. You'd rather be there knowing you're at least on the racetrack when you got wrecked and not trying to get into a pit stop. Those 3 trucks still had not really found a way to kind of sneak down onto that bottom line to pull everybody single file, but the inside line doesn't really seem to be giving them that space.
You can see 2 trucks to do it if you really are on the bumper. And that 3rd truck's got to be close enough to the back bumper, but not on it. And they're not put together on that outside line. That is Mike Allen, Jose Ruiz, and then the 09 is JB Banner, I believe. Yeah, JB Banner on the outside. So those 3 trucks, you're going to see them start slipping back. You've got 3 teammates out front on the bottom row, and that is Jeff Ludden, who I would love to see win his first race. Pacey Wygen out there in second on the bottom row, then Chad Swatsworth on the third on the bottom row, and then it goes to Tyler Dillhard, Josh Arnold, and then Chris Murphy on the bottom row, which is a teammate of the front 3. So those guys are all getting lined up, but that outside line is trying and working to try to stay with these leaders, and they're doing all right. He's able to stay with the second placeman of Pacey Wygen, but he's not able to get up to Mike Honcho of Jeff Ludden. Sorry, I got gamer tags, and Jeff Ludden has always been called Mike Honcho for me. Same with John. It's always been Jay Paso. I just spit them both out at the same time. But yeah, Jeff Ludden, I would love to see him get his first win Big deserving of a big win. He's very fast, very nice guy. Would love to see him come out here and get a win. I'd like to see Poplar get a win. I'd like to see his son, Mike Campbell the third, get a win. And the 11 back there, who's hovering towards the back right now, just kind of patiently sitting back there. Him and his dad have worked together a lot on super speedways, and they've won some races where they are tandem, as it looks like green flag stops are going to start up here. And it looks like that group that I was just discussing is coming down.
You got about 4 trucks that were coming down there. It looks like you got now really 2 separate packs. Looks like you got a pack of about 6 trucks in the back there, and then you got another pack of about 7 trucks really kind of staying close together. And now that second pack, there's and just close in. Now they're on the tail end. Now everybody's single file.
Yeah, and that's that group of teammates there. Looks like 4 of them or 5 of them are teammates. They also pulled Jake Banner in the 02. So those 6 drivers right there all came down together. We'll see what happens here now with the field separated. Who's going to come next? That was a not very long run. That was a 22-lap run, which does do a quarter of the segment, which means they can do it in 3 pit stops total. And here comes another group
coming down pit road.
So it looks like in this group, you got Jose Ruiz, Tyler Dohar, Josh Arnold, Chase McGuire, JB Banner, Ryan McCall, and Michael Camber III. That looks like that can't be all of them that I'm seeing. Mike Allen's also in that, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But where do they come out when this other group comes out that pitted already? Shad and Pacey and them are coming around turn 3 and 4 right now. These guys are in pits. I'm not seeing tires going up, so they are putting 2 cans of fuel on. Jose Ruiz out already. The other thing is there's still a pack out there that has not pitted. A pack of 5. Cole Snyder, Mike Poppleberry Campbell, Zach Meredith, Hunter Peach, and Nate Lehman have not pitted.
Said that. Well, now they're coming down pit road.
Well, they just ran an extra 2 laps compared to that first group.
Hey, it gives you 2 more laps of fuel.
So it looks like the group that pitted first is going to come out here. And it does not look like they're going to take the lead if it's going to happen here, because Jose Ruiz had a really fast pit stop. And he was able to get out before anybody else in that second group that pitted. But he got hooked up as a tandem here with, I want to say it's Tyler Dohar. So those 2 have paired up, but the 4 of KS Gaming out there, of Pacey Wygen, Mike Concho, Shad Swatsford, and Chris Murphy are lined up and are going past those 2 right now on the outside. They're going to clear the third group that pitted. That's going to put Pacey out front, mixed in with just 6 cars. Is the other groups going to be able to get paired up together? Looks like they're getting strung out. There's a group of about 4 coming off of turn 2 right now that could pair up with the other groups of Nate Lehman, Nate Lehman, Cole Snyder, Zach Meredith. They could pair up with all those guys and try to catch back up to the 6 that are out here now by themselves. We have 3 separate groups.
You got to get up the speed and really start kind of trying to draft off of them right now, because if you're a little too slow getting up to speed, the pack's not going to wait for you.
No, I'm looking. It looks like Josh Arnold's actually by himself. So he's getting caught up right now by Cole Snyder, Zach Meredith, and Nate Lehman. So those 4 are not technically teammates, but they might as well be teammates. But they are linked together. So now we have a group of 6. We have a group of 4. And then after this group of 4 right here, we have another group. And that is a group of about 7 or 8 there. Where's the next group here? Hunter Peach, Mike Concho, Papa Bear. What happened to Mike Campbell III? Looks like he got lost from the draft and he has fallen off. The 0-2 of Jake Banner looks like he went a lap down, so he must have had a speeding penalty. He had to come back down. But back out front, Pacey Wygen leading the first 6 trucks right now, and they are fast on track. Look at the speed difference, though. Look at Josh Arnold leading the second group of 4 trucks. He was at 195. Look at the leader, 184. 185, 186, 187. So going into the corner, he's at 186, 187, and Josh Arnold was 192 coming out to the corner before.
All 4 trucks decided they don't want to sit in that line forever. They want to start trying to make that move and get back up to the front, and that's what they're going to do.
Oh, look at the difference. Pacey Wygant leading the field at 183. Josh Arnold on the outside at 185. He's going faster than 6 cars on the bottom line. 4 trucks on the outside line just pulled all the way back up to the leader with just 4 trucks.
Not really sure where this speed difference is really kind of coming from. It sounds like they got
It just depends on how those trucks are linked together.
Yeah, but it looked like the 2 cars are on the bottom of the line kind of were close together, but I guess the outside line was maybe closer. I mean, yeah, right now that outside line, they're all bumper to bumper, it looks like.
Yeah, it looked like Cole was right on the bumper of Jake Hall, if not real close to it. Was Zach Meredith and Nate Lehman all kind of doing the same thing. They're all kind of tagged together there. And they are not separated at all, but those 6 did get a little separation from each other, and that's what causes the problem, because then you only have 2 or 3 cars pushing. Like, look at the gap right now between the 37 and the 1. There's at least half a car there. That's what's causing the outside lane to stick with them. If they can get linked up and a lot closer together, and also the swaying back and forth probably hurting them a little bit too. But they've got to cool the engines. They can't sit behind each other the entire race like that, because they have to get air to it. They don't overheat.
That's the last thing you want, is an overheating truck at Talladega.
I see Eleanor out there saying the 11 needs a yellow. That I would definitely agree that Mike Campbell III definitely needs a caution here. He is on the backstretch as the leaders are going into turn 1. So if he does not get a yellow within the next probably 5 to 10 laps, they will be on him.
I'd say it's going to be close to the 10 laps, because that is still a gap here. Now the leaders have just come off of turn 2 and they've just entered the backstretch, so it would be a little bit closer to 10 laps. So it really depends on the speed difference. I mean, him going by himself. Let me take a look real quick.
Josh Arnold going to switch down to the bottom lane, leaving his teammates out there on the outside line. Only 3 deep on the outside line. We'll see if the outside line is able to do what Josh Arnold just did. The other thing is you might see is if a teammate gets out in front of that bottom line, he can drag his brake, which slows that bottom line down and allows the outside line to come on by and get in front of him. You see how close Pacey is to the back bumper, so I'm wondering if that's what's happening. But I'm not seeing it in the speed difference.
It's not going to be long before they do run up on Mike Campbell. Lap traffic is, or actually no, Jake Banner right now is only running 164.
Yeah.
I think 164. Look at Campbell, he's running about 168 to about 170. And then you look at the leaders, 188.
Yeah, something I'm seeing too is 13th on back is back here almost a whole turn, turn 3 and 4 behind the leaders. They are stacked together, but that's 7 trucks that was separated from the lead pack, and we'll have another round of green flag stops coming up. We could see a few more trucks get separated. That group there, I believe, was the second group to pit, so they did not time that correctly or had really slow pit stops compared to everybody else. And I'm looking at the times, and they're actually not that different. Some of them actually had faster lap times than the guys who were out front, so it all comes down to pit entrance, pit exit, getting through the gears, and then where you come out and who's stacked up with you to get going.
If you don't got the pack with you and you mistime your pit stop, well, doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if you had a faster pit stop. If you mistime it, that's the difference in more than just a couple of positions. It's the difference in a whole pack.
Hey, I see Q Dog out there in the chat. Q, I was looking for you tonight. I thought you'd be a contender. Enjoy your family trip out to Ocean City. I'm hoping you're enjoying that. Probably really nice out there right now compared to some places. So it was actually kind of nice here in North Carolina today.
This front pack has gotten single file. They're just going to be... This should allow them to pull away from that second pack.
And Q, if you're still listening out there, my wife just heard that you were at Ocean City, and she said to go to Thrasher's Fries and Fisher's Popcorn. The caramel popcorn stand, I guess, to get some caramel popcorn. But like we were just saying before, that outside line, the 3 drivers that were hung out there by Josh Arnold, all 3 got by. So I'm wondering if that was a little team message there to allow the outside road, because we haven't seen 3 trucks make that pass like that easily. So they hung out there for a little bit, but then they were able to get right on by J-Paw and duck on down. Now everybody is on the bottom line. So who's going to be the first one to try to create that outside line to try to go right back by this team of CDR, which technically isn't CDR, but they're all a group of guys together, so that are friends. So they're not on the same team, but they might as well be, especially with a few guys missing tonight. So they got 4 in a row there.
Well, if you decide to make the move and you want to be the first one, well, if no one goes with you, then you just risked it for nothing there. It looks like 2 trucks have just jumped to the outside line.
Jose Ruiz and Talladega.
We're trying to make some moves, and it looks like they have gained some momentum. They're gaining spots. No one is going up with them. Now they're up to the 5th spot. The 5th and 6th.
Had oysters and clams today at Hoopers or Hoppers, something. That doesn't sound too tasty to me, Q. I'm not a seafood eater, so you eat all those oysters and clams all you want. Seeing somebody else in the chat says thanks for the follow thanks for the support for Mike Campbell. So depending on which Mike Campbell you're rooting for, Papa Bear Campbell, the older of the 2, he is currently listed in 15th place, riding around in the 3rd pack back there with his son, his son just went a lap down. That would be Mike Campbell the 3rd. So older Papa Bear older Campbell is still on the lead lap. They're running together about a little less than half of a track separated. These 7 trucks back here got separated during green flag stops, and they have not made up any ground on the leaders. They're hovering back here. They're not really put together. They're a little bit separated, and that's hindering their speed. You can see the speed is at 180, which is pretty much identical to Cole Snyder up here. Actually, Cole's going a little faster. But look at Jose Ruiz and Tyler Dohar in that tandem driving. That's what we were talking about. The tandem draft is working. Tyler Dohar and Jose Ruiz coming from almost last in this front pack to the front of the field, and Jose Ruiz taking the lead on that lap.
I think he just led that lap.
Yeah.
I think you just led that lap there. Now side by side as they go through turn 1. I didn't think those 2 trucks were gonna jump up there. Like, I didn't think they were gonna close in like that, but apparently they are. And I figured once you get a couple of trucks with you, I figured others would go up there, and no one seems to be doing that.
I'm surprised if you didn't jump up there, especially right now. You can see that they're at the front of the pack, so why not jump up there and help them push past the group of guys that are stuck together? Like from Pacey on back to Jeff Ludnam, Shad Swadsworth, Chris Murphy. I'm surprised the 4 of them don't jump up and help. The other 2 go right on by. That would put about 6 or 7 on the outside row versus 4. So I'm surprised they're not jumping up there, but maybe they're just trying to wait their time out. We're closing in on the halfway of the race. Another round of pit stops coming up in probably the next 8 to 9 laps.
I think that's probably what it is, because if you jump up there and then all of a sudden that, like, everyone kind of starts closing in close on each other, now you can't get down to the bottom, and it really kind of messes up your entry going down in the pit road, because it's a whole lot easier to enter pit road when you're on the bottom line. And you really don't want to give up the track position you're in, because if you jump to the outside line, then someone closes that spot, just kind of giving up that track position entering pit road. So I think that's probably the reason a lot of these guys are really just staying single file, while Jose Ruiz and Tyler Dohar are trying to at least improve their spot. So if they enter pit road and everything goes perfectly, they have a shot of taking the lead away.
Cole got a good push there from the 17 of Zach Meredith. Actually looked like he almost turned him. You can see the back end come out just a little bit as Zach was trying to push Cole Snyder there, and Cole corrected it, was able to stay straight, and actually gave him a little bit of a speed boost there. But I'm seeing, it looks like Zach Meredith's running the Talladega Nights paint scheme Wonder Bread. He does have Fig Newtons on the hood, or on the windshield, but it is not across the windshield in his view. Yeah, Talladega Nights out here on the track for Talladega tonight. Cole Snyder out front right now. Jose Ruiz and Tyler Dillard are falling off of that front group. They were right up there next to Cole Snyder and Zach Meredith, but Zach Meredith gave Cole Snyder one really good push, and it shot them out front, way out front compared to Jose and Tyler.
Speaking of Talladega Nights, you know what we need to see? We just need to see that Cougar paint scheme. Wonder if anyone's got a Cougar in the back of the truck with them.
Yeah. We need the me paint scheme.
Jose Ruiz and Tyler Dohar once again moving back up. They're up to the third spot, now up to the second spot.
I don't think they can make the pass completely, though. They need somebody else to jump up there. You technically need 3 or 4 trucks to be able to make it work, because you need the third truck to be able to push that second truck up to the leader to give him the shot to push him past the leader. I mean, Dohar's able to get to the back bumper Jose, but he's not able to shoot him past because nobody's behind Tyler Dohar, giving him the accelerated boost to get up to Jose, to then, you know, transfer that momentum into Jose's back bumper, and it's just not working for them. They're able to stay there, but they're not able to make the pass completely.
They only just got enough to really stay even, and I think really they only got the strength to kind of stay with second and third, but like every time they just get a small little momentum boost, they get up side by side for the lead. But of course, I think the main spot is really where they're able to hang the most, is that third place spot, because they don't fall anywhere behind that. Meredith's jumped up there now. Now you got 3 trucks.
I think Meredith was tired of sitting behind Cole Snyder, but Jose and Tyler Dohar said, no thank you, we will just be the 2 of us. We'll put Meredith in the middle, and he's going to lose a few positions. He dives right back in front of his teammates. I think that was a gap given to him by his teammates there. But right back to the 4 CDR J-Pop Militia group leading this field.
Figured Jose Ruiz and Tyler Dohar would have just kind of stuck with Meredith and pushed them out, but I guess they said no, and that pushed them all the way back now side by side for the 4th spot. Now puts them into the 5th spot. Meredith still hangs on to 3rd, so Meredith only lost 1 spot there going 3 wide. Meanwhile, Jose Ruiz and Tyler Dohar now just lost quite a bit of spots on that.
We should see pit stops coming in the next probably 4 laps. A couple people out there in chat rooting for people. You got Bella rooting for the 79, which is Chase McGuire. You got Hugsy out there rooting for the 71 and 11. That's the Campbell boys out there running. I don't know if the Campbell boys are going to be able to link up. They're going to definitely need some cautions to be brought out, because Campbell the 3rd is 1 lap down, so he's going to need a caution to be brought out.
Well, he is that first truck 1 lap down, so that caution would...
oh, he's mixed into this front pack, so he'll be all right if the caution does come out, as long as he's not involved in it.
Yeah. As long as you're not the caution, you're fine with really anyone coming out. As long as you're not the car that's causing it. suppose the leader wouldn't want to see a caution either. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think a majority of these kind of trucks up here, they really probably don't want to see a caution because they know if like a caution would, that's going to put everyone right back together and it's going to kind of ruin that single file line you got there on the bottom. So really, like,
Yeah, if a caution comes out, you'll have 18 stacked back up. The 19th position, Jake Banner in the 02, is 2 laps down. So he is still kind of part of this lead pack here, but he's fallen off a little bit now. But yeah, if there's a caution that comes out, Mike Campbell III obviously will get the waiver round or the lucky dog. And that'll put 18 back on the lead lap to be able to bunch up together. So I don't think these guys are looking for that. They've got a huge gap over 7 trucks all the way back to the front stretch as they're on the middle of the back stretch. So they've got half a lap on 7 trucks. They are limiting the field down as they do these green flag stops. That's why I'm wondering what happens on the next green flag stop. That should be coming any second here as they've just ran 21 laps. We saw the first group pit on lap 22 of the race, or 21, and then 22, and then 23. So here's a big group again. This is the front 4. Look at Pacey Wyden go all the way around and duck down pit road. He just went all the way around the front 4 and takes the lead as they go into the pit road of the guys who just pitted. So that's a huge move for Pacey if he was able to get underneath the speed limit. We'll see if he gets a penalty for doing. Oh, and he missed his box. That's not going to help. So everything he just made up doing that giant dive in a pit road, I think he just lost with missing his pit stop.
Like, we got 3 trucks that have stayed out here at the moment. But actually,
it looks like they're all coming back out.
Tyler Dohar, and then it's Michael Campbell's that last truck in that line there.
So
those
8 or 9 trucks that just pitted, they're all coming out now. Hopefully they can keep this group together. There's a little bit of separation between them, so if a group gets out and gets through the gears fast enough, they will lose that pack. Shad's trying to stay on the back bumper of Cole Snyder, or stay in the draft of Cole Snyder. He's getting there. He's got to be able to pull his 3 teammates who are right behind him along, though. Looks like Nohar Ruiz are now down pit road.
It's another 3 truck pack here, and one of them just dove down pit road. The other 2 stay out.
Of Chase McGuire.
Hunter Peach and Mike Campbell have just taken over the lead, and Hunter Peach got the lap led. He never came down pit road yet, and those 2 were part of that second pack, or maybe third pack. They were part of the last pack, and now that they've stayed out, it's just those 2 on the backstretch.
We are over halfway through this Talladega race. No incidents so far. No cautions on track at all. 2 green flag stops have been completed. We have limited now the front pack down to about, if Tyler Dohar and Jose Ruiz can catch onto this pack, we'll have, what, 12 guys in the front pack.
Leader Hunter Peach just came down pit road, and Mike Campbell, who is in second, Mike Campbell Jr., who is in second, those 2 just came down pit road right now. When they get out, they're not gonna be the leaders anymore, but they might be able to stay with the tail end of this. I don't think so. Not anymore.
They were about a half track behind the leaders when they pit, so they needed to stay out and hope for a caution and then restack them. But they're going to have to get together with some of these other guys. There's a small group that's coming out right now or coming through the tri-oval, but I don't know if they'll get attached to those guys either. That group, I believe, is James in the 94, Ryan McCall. There's a couple others linked there. Papa Bear's coming out right now. Hunter Peach is coming out right now. JB Banner's right there. Mike Allen right there, and Chase McGuire right there. So if those 7 or 8 can get linked together, hopefully they can make up some time. But that's a big amount of time. If you look, that whole group I was just discussing is on the backstretch through the middle of the backstretch. This front pack that I just flipped the camera back to just went through the middle part of the front stretch. So they are still a half a lap back, and they are not bunched together at all in that backstretch.
they gotta get paired up right now. They gotta try and work together, get themselves all paired up with each other, and then you don't want to stay in these these two truck packs while the leaders are in a what 12 trucks together right now.
Yeah, there's about 12 lined up in a single file line. And they're
So
being led by the
those
points leader, Nate Lehman, in that Amazon Prime paint scheme. That's not good for the rest of the field. And second in points is the 22. So first and second in the points are leading this field right now.
so right now those trucks there in that second pack, they have to get paired up right now. They can't just sit as these you can't sit as these 2-car packs. Looks like you got 4 of them kind of together right now. You got another 2 ahead of them. So I think they're going to get paired up here and turn it into a 6 truck pack at the moment. It will be. Meanwhile, they've left one, Mike Campbell Jr. behind.
Yeah, Baba Bear fell off that pack. That pack has actually gotten bunched up now. It's being led by the 94, or actually it's being led by the 10 of Ryan McCall. But Hunter Peach is, I think, going to take over that lead on that one. But yeah, that group they took a long time to form up. And I don't know if they can make any ground up on this lead pack that has so many trucks lined up together in a single file. This is what I was talking about. Well, who was going to fall off next? And now we're down to 12 trucks being in the lead pack. The rest of the field is all separated back there, about a half-track back.
Well, 6 trucks versus about 12, you're not going to really make up that difference unless they really start getting side by side. So we're in the second pack right now. What they're hoping for is, well, caution is the first thing they're hoping for. But if they don't get that, they're at least kind of hoping things get shaken up at the front of the pack, and they hope it goes that way soon.
Group is definitely putting some laps down. We are 30 to go now, as these guys have been just green the whole way through. And kind of what I said I wanted to happen, so I'm glad they were able to put that down tonight. But kind of excited to see what happens here towards the end of the race.
This is probably the cleanest Talladega race I've ever seen in iRacing.
I mean, these guys have been racing together for 3 seasons in Xfinity, 2 seasons in trucks, 1 season in the Superspeedway League, and 1 season in the modified series that they had as well. So these guys know each other very, very well. They know each other's habits. They know each other's driving styles. They know who likes to run strategy, who likes to fuel save, who likes to do tire saving, who likes to just go all out and go to the front and burn their tires off. But none of that really matters here at a Superspeedway. The only thing you got to worry about is having enough fuel to complete each part of this race, and they have done so far with 28 laps to go. We'll see one more pit stop, probably. Do they split it or do they run it out? I would assume they would run it out of fuel, but you could see a group maybe try to split this last part of the race. With 28 laps to go, 29 laps to go, they were only running about 21 to 23 laps of fuel. They've already ran 8 laps, so we should see them pit again with about 7 to 10 to go, unless they split this part of it, to where they can come in, just throw a little bit of fuel in it. I think
it would be a lot better it'd be a whole lot better just to try and a little bit earlier, so at least you give yourself some time to really make that up. How much you can kind of run on fuel, you're kind of hoping that if you can pit before 10 to go, you at least give yourself a number of laps to at least try and get, to really help out your spot. And of course, if you're in the second pack, you got to try and come up with something that'll at least help you out and trying to close back in, but they're going to need a miracle right now with the way things are going, that second pack.
I'm wondering
Need some
who's going to
luck.
make the first move towards the end of the race to really make this racing. Uh, those four that are out front right now, those four are very close to each other. They're four drivers that um, usually race in a lot of leagues together. The next four are teammates. So that's 8 drivers out of the front 12. Jose Ruiz and Tyler Dohar have been working together, so that's another 2 there. So 10 drivers there have really good relationships with each other, but I'm wondering who's going to make that first move. And it actually looks like we lost 2 of the drivers that were in this group. So down to 10 at the front of the field.
The thing I'm noticing is that 2 of those first 4 trucks came from the second half of this pack. Because Zachary Meredith started 17th, and he never put down a qualifying time, but he finds himself in 3rd. And Cole Snyder started in 10th. He finds himself 4th right now. So really kind of played really what they did, they've played their strategy great since the beginning of this race, and it really helps them out there. You see Tyler Dohar, who's qualified on the pole, and now he's back in 10th. So
Yeah,
different strategies, but at the same time, it's Talladega. It doesn't matter where you start. All that matters is where you are in the end.
I mean, even at the start of the race, the 22, he qualified 6th, but he put it in the chat here saying he had a terrible qualifying lap, but he'd be out front soon. And within 2-3 laps, he was out front. So it didn't matter where he started. I'm sure he would have been in the same position if he'd have started 10th or 12th or 15th. He was going to the front.
At Campbell, this is really kind of gotten disappointing for Mike Campbell. He started in 3rd, back in 17th currently.
Yeah, and that's a product of that first green flag stop. They chose to stay out 1 lap longer than the rest of the field. The 3 groups that pitted all pitted on different laps. They pitted on lap 21, then the second group pitted lap 22, then the third group pitted lap 23. But each time each group pitted, there was less cars in the pack that was still out on track, so they lost a lot of time. And then when they went through the second green flag stops, Papa Bear was linked up with the 7 or 8 drivers that are in the back right now, coming through turn 1 and 2, and he did not get out of the pit stops very quickly, and he lost the draft from that group. So once you lose the draft, you fall off. Your speeds are way off compared to the draft. If we go back and look right now, let's see, top speed at the front is 180. If we go to Papa Bear, he's on the pack, so who's by himself? Nope. Nobody's by themselves. So, but when we did look at it earlier, it was about, 10-mile-an-hour difference if you were a solo truck compared to a truck in a pack. So that's a huge amount of speed to lose.
I think it was closer to about 15-mile-an-hour difference.
Either way, it's a huge amount of speed to make up.
Because one of them was only running about 170 by themselves, and meanwhile, I was looking at the leader of the pack, they got up to 188 for a moment, but they mostly been running about 184, 185, so about 15-mile-an-hour difference.
I don't think anybody was able to save fuel. J-Paw is the only driver I've ever seen in this Talladega race on fuel mileage. Everybody pit with like 3 laps to go, and he just kept on going. And he ran out of fuel in turn 3 and 4 at Talladega and coasted from turn 4 all the way down through the travel, all the way down to where that finish line is on screen. As I pull up the track map here, he coasted the whole front stretch, which seems impossible. But he had that much of a lead because everybody else pitted. So he had up to, I think it was like a 50-second lead, which is almost a whole lap around here. So when they pitted, they came out, they full tilt, just put it to the floor, and he was coasting, and they almost caught him, but he wound up winning the race with that fuel strategy. And it's the only time I've ever seen somebody run out of fuel at Talladega on turn 4 and coast the whole way. I mean, he was creeping at like 10 mile an hour as he came to the finish line. There was no speed in that truck whatsoever. I think he had it shut off and had the clutch pushed in the whole way, trying to let it to roll through to the finish line. And he won, I think, only by like 6 seconds. So the rest of the field was coming. But his strategy was able to work it. But I don't think you can save the amount of laps that they needed. They needed to save about 9 laps. And I don't think that was
Well, if you start saving at just the right time, you can
That's
really
a lot of
push out.
laps.
Yeah, if you start saving them at the right time, you can really kind of push out the number of laps, and as long as you got other trucks with you, you can just keep them in draft the entire time, at least kind of saving fuel, and just hope you at least can maintain a large enough gap over the rest of the field.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the fuel stops here, I mean, you've got Lehman, Arnold, Meredith. They ran a 21 and a 22. So Lehman and them ran 23 the first time, then 21, 22 the second time. They're on 15 now. So if they're continuing to do that same strategy of 22 and 23, they should be pitting in the next 7 laps, which will put them with about 14 to 13 to go. I would think you only put enough fuel in to finish out the race. Put the whole thing in there, but hopefully guys are paying attention to that and they don't go in there and just throw the whole thing at it. But there's other guys that might short pit. You might see some guys come down with 15 to 20 to go and throw in enough fuel and try to stack up together. But I feel like you stay with the whole pack. Don't leave the pack.
I'd say right now probably the best choice to do on pit road would be just put enough in to make it to the end, because we have not seen any cautions yet at Talladega, and we're already on lap 61.
As much as I'd like to say we're not going to see any cautions, we're not at the end yet. When it gets down to 5 to go, there's going to be some moves made. Some guys maybe getting a little too close and not cleared. All that goes out the window with 10 to go. So with 5 to go, it's going to be real racy out here. These guys are single file now. As we see the back group again, Jose Ruiz, Tyler Dohart making that tandem draft work on the outside line. We'll see if the rest of the field decides to jump up there with them this time and go by the 4 teammates up here at the front that's been leading this whole race essentially. So I don't see anybody else coming up. That's surprising.
Those two, they got a lot of momentum right now. Do they have
going
enough?
From the back to the front.
They don't have enough, and Ruiz just got a little bit
They
loose.
need 2 more trucks.
Ruiz does not have enough momentum. Those front 4 trucks there were all just too close to each other, while picking off the back 4 trucks in that line. Them being separated like that by about a car length.
I thought Shad was going to
a
do
lot.
it. He stayed. He swayed a little bit, and I thought he was going to jump out there, but he didn't.
Right now, I think kind of run this a little bit. Kind of run this a little bit closer, kind of where you are, then kind of make your move.
I mean, they have to
then
pit
head
again,
down
so I don't
pit
know
road.
if you want to get super racy right now.
Well, if you're kind of one guy, if you're one person, I think just trying to hang on. I would say you kind of run where you are. Make sure you kind of close in just a bit, but then before pit stops come up, that's when you try and make your move, at least to try and improve your spot by a few positions. Then you come down pit road. No, I'm not trying to get super racy.
Who makes that move? And do they make
you
it
don't-
now to lead the field to pit stops, or do they do it coming out of it? Lose the whole group after pit stops. And does Pacey make that move again going into pit road? Does he go around all the drivers and try to break it into the pit stop? And then this time, if he makes it to his pit stall, he should be first off of pit road. That should help him.
And right now,
20 of the run, 18 to go.
if you're at the tail end of this pack right now, as soon as you see that leader drop down the head down pit road, I say that's just when you try and drop down right away and see how many guys can you pass going in the pit road. Probably not the smartest decision. Might run someone over doing that, but if you're able to make it work, then it will help you out by putting you a little bit further up in the pack.
Gamble out here now as a lap down car. He's actually going to go 2 laps down. Whoa, that was close. I thought they were going to use him as a draft pick, but they went right around him. So hopefully Papa Bear can grab a hold of this group and give Shad and them another driver. But all right, so the front 4 bailed. They're coming down pit road. Now you leave 7 guys out there together. They should be able to be faster than these 4 I don't know. This is going to be close. 16
I
to
would say
go.
I would say these 6 or 7. I think you probably come if you're in this pack. I say you probably come down like probably this time by since those 4 just kind of came down pit road. I say you probably come down now unless you can run fast. I mean, but you can run faster in a 7-car pack than a 4. It might just be better just to come down this time by, then get paired up. So when that pack of 4 comes up, you can maybe just be up the speed by the time they get to you.
That was a fast stop for those front 4. They're out of
4
pit
more
road and they're
coming
going
down.
around turn 1 and 2.
4 more coming down. 3 just stayed out.
So that's the next team of 4 that are coming down right now with Pacey, Shad, Jeff Lundum, and Chris Murphy. 4 teammates coming down pit road now. Who's going to make it out in front, and do they get up to speed before the 17, the 24, and the 22 get back around? They are coming into turn 3 right now at full speed. These guys are hitting their pit boxes. Can they get out and get in front of that 4 group? And then what does Jose and Tyler Dohar do? Shad and them coming out of pit stops now. Looks like Murphy's not going to be with them. He's a little slower on the pit stop. Shad and them getting up to speed, coming through turn 1 and 2. Zach Meredith, Josh Arnold, and Cole Snyder all coming into turn 1 now. Where is Shad and them going to come out of turn 2? Are they going to be in front?
Jose Ruiz and Tyler Dohart just came down pit road right now, and staying out is Mike Campbell Jr. right now by himself, getting one of those laps back. Now if you get a caution, oh, now you're back on the lead lap. I think that's what he's hoping for, trying to run as long as he is.
Mason tried to throw a block on Josh Arnold. Josh Arnold and them said, nope, not today. Oh, big touch. Big wreck. And caution's going to be out.
And right now, on pit road, already in the middle of their pit stop, when that caution came out, Hunter Peach was in that pack. Like Ryan McCall was in there as well. Chase McGuire was already down pit road. JB Banner. So there's a pack of about 6 or 7 trucks that were already in the middle of pit stops when that caution came out.
Let's go back and take a look at this.
That just helped them out tremendously, and that's going to help out Mike Campbell Jr., who's now going to be back on the lead lap, right?
I believe he is. So if we take a look at this, I'll try to get a different angle. Let me back it up, because there was a touch before this. All right, so slow-mo. It looks like Nate Lehman's coming up behind Josh Arnold, giving him a bump. Honcho looks like he comes out from behind Shad just a little bit. Oh, Nate Lehman actually touches Honcho. Turns him into Josh Arnold, which then turns Josh into Shad. But Shad was able to continue. Yeah, you can see a little bit of a bump here. It looks like Lehman makes contact with Lednum. It's not even contact, that's netcode, but
It's not what the lead pack wanted to see.
no, they didn't want to see that at all. And there's no fast repair, so these guys are going to be completely banged up. So you can see the netcode. You can see Honcho's car turning to the right as Lehman touches that right rear. They're not actually touching, but it's part of iRacing. There's netcode involved. So once Lehman touches Honcho, or the 37 of Lednum then gets turned into J-Paul, who turns into Shad. Then it's just an accordion effect. Lednum gets turned again, which then turns J-Paw. Did Pacey, why didn't it squeak through there?
I don't think Josh Arnold really got a lot of damage from that. Right now, he was the points leader going into this race. So if he if he slammed the wall or something, like, I mean, touching another car, if he's going for a spin,
I mean, he got a pretty big
really
hit
saved Josh
there
more.
from Lednam when Lednam got turned the second time. So, yeah, that could definitely
Yeah.
affect that. But these guys are down pit road right now. Dohar and Chase McGuire, JB Banner, Ryan McCall, Mike Allen all stayed out and are going to be the lead 5. Shad Swatsworth and the rest of the group are all down pit road, and it looks like they're all putting tires and fuel in. So fresh tires usually doesn't mean a whole lot, but we're 70 laps into this run. A little extra rubber probably isn't going to hurt.
I would say right now, since a number of these trucks have not really probably been taking tires on their pit stops, if you take one now, you got a whole lot fresher tires, got a little bit more grip, so maybe a little bit more speed, so it probably will do more helping than it will hurting at this point. Unfortunately, 2 of the top 3 guys in points were caught up in that wreck.
I'm not seeing a whole lot of damage to Josh Arnold's truck. He's got a little bit on that left side. That left rear bumper is bent in just a little bit. Looks like the spoiler maybe bowed a little bit too. But in the draft, that shouldn't really affect him.
I don't know if it will really affect it by
No, it shouldn't.
much.
Cole Snyder has some damage on the back bumper. That should not affect him. Um, front looks pretty decent. Doesn't look too bad. Hunter Peach was safe in that one. Shad's. Let's see. Front looks good. Maybe the right rear has a little bit of damage, but I don't see anything affecting the spoiler. It looks like it's just right behind the tire where Josh was turned down into him. So um, a little bit of damage there, but I don't see a whole lot. Laser, there was a little bit of net code. 2 guys came together a little close, and it kind of turned one, who turned into another one, who then turned into another car. So then there's just a giant accordion effect once the net code happened. They didn't actually make contact on screen, but that net code definitely affected the cars together. I'll try to pull it up again right here real quick. All right, so I'll back it up again one more time to take a look.
Looks like right now the pace car lights are off right now, but you got time because they just made their way to turn 1.
So you'll see Lehman come down. He makes contact with Honcho's right rear, but Honcho was coming up the track a little bit too. And when that happened, it just net coded Honcho into J-Paw, who then was turned into Shad, and then Lednam was then turned by Latham again, and then turned into J-Paw again. So giant, or Lehman, sorry, not Latham. Giant accordion effect. Not really anything anybody could do. That was more net code. Lednam
And
came up just a little bit, but
the only damage Arnold got from that was just that bump there,
yeah.
which spun him around. So, hey, that's a lucky break right there. If you're not getting turned to the outside wall at Talladega, you're pretty
Arnold,
much
you
your
could probably
day's
give him
saved.
half a truck at a Superspeedway, and he'll still be up front. I don't see the 22 having any issues coming back up through the field.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be much. Maybe just a tiny bit since you're a little bit further. You're a little bit further back and not up
might
front,
be a little different.
Yeah.
But we do have 11 to go as they're coming around to 1 to green. Coming through 3 and 4. Continuing still in the race, Tyler Dilhar leading the field. He did not pit. JB Banner second on that outside row, did not pit. Chase McGuire up here in the top 3 for the first time tonight, did not pit as well on that inside row. Ryan McCall up here in the top 4, did not pit from the outside of the second row. Mike Allen did not pit, and he is on the inside of the third row. The rest of the field did pit that stop. That would be Jose Ruiz, Chris Murphy, Shad Swaz, Hunter Peach, Cole Snyder, Josh Arnold, Nate Lehman, Pacey Wygant, James Munch, Mike Campbell Jr., Zachary Meredith, all pitted. All did take some damage repair. Jeff Ludham did not make the call back out onto the track. So We are down to 16 lead lap cars as we are going to go green with 10 laps to go once he crosses the line here. And Tyler Dohart in the 77 is going to lead the field. Who's going to make the moves on the outside? I don't see that 22 staying in the back very long, Riley.
Oh, we're 3 wide right now in just the middle of that pack. Josh Arnold there in that middle line. Shad up on the very top. Hunter Peaks down low. Still 3 wide as they work their way off of turn 2. We got 3 separate lines have officially formed. At first it was just 1 car up there, and now you got 3 up there in that top line. But a majority of them all down in that bottom and
rows. We got 3 lines going. It's gonna get racy, so I would not be surprised to see another caution come out. But that bottom row is hanging tough with Tyler Dohart and Mike Allen now up into 2nd place. And it looks like Chris Murphy has moved up to 3rd place on the bottom row, but he is being attacked by Chase McGuire on the outside in the 2nd row. And there is a 3rd row trying to be formed, but it is not working. Guys are not getting formed up. It looks like they're getting a little bit formed up better on the 2nd row, and Chad Swinton bails at the bottom.
The 3rd row is a little bit better formed up there off the restart, but now all of a sudden you've just shuffled it back down the 2 lines. However, right now the leaders, Tyler Dohart and Michael Allen right now, currently leading that bottom line. Still got just a good enough gap right now. That outside line they've got formed up and they're closing in. Up the 2nd.
Jay Paul's on the outside row. They're getting lined up. That's Meredith, Nate Lehman, and Jay Paul all lined up on the outside row, and they are pushing Chase McGuire on that 79 on the outside row. He bails to the bottom line. Now the 3 teammates lined up again with Jose Ruiz and the 10 of Ryan McCall on the outside as well. Bottom line, a little bit of blocking there. Chase McGuire throwing the block on Tyler Dohart, who jumps to the outside row, gets turned by Zach Meredith. Mike Allen comes back up the track and goes into the 17 of Zach Meredith, causing another wreck here at Talladega.
That count as the big one? I'd say there's about 6, 7 of them involved in that wreck. There's a hard hit down to the inside wall. A number of these trucks kind of hit each other. Some of them hit the inside wall.
Riley, let's go back and take a look at this one. A little bit of blocking.
Smoke coming from Michael Allen. I'm seeing smoke coming from Michael Allen's truck right now.
Yeah, he probably should definitely have some smoke because he hit the inside wall and was bounced off a couple different trucks there. But we'll take a look at this.
He's got a lot of damage along the tail end, along the right side.
So I'm going to back this one all the way up to where it looked like the 79 tried to throw a block on Dohart as he went to the outside of him. You see the 77 moving up. Chase tries to throw the block on him, does successfully, comes back down to the bottom row, but then Zach Meredith tries to shoot the middle and turns Dohart down on the inside row. That causes the rest of the field chain reaction to go all the way through here. A bunch of guys involved in this caution. No fast repairs tonight, so that might eliminate a few guys that were involved in this. It looks like maybe Shad was actually cleared through this. He's got some damage on the front end of his truck, but he's one of the cleaner trucks out there that does have damage. So we'll see what happens here after another caution has come out, and we'll see who is able to finish this race.
Tyler Dohart, I think, escaped with just a little bit of damage there. I mean, he had contact with other trucks there, so that's where he gets a lot of that damage, and then just barely taps the inside wall. I think a majority of his
Mike
damage.
Campbell III is going to be back on the lead lap. So watch out. Campbell boys are both back on the lead lap. can they get hooked together and we see that tandem draft work for the two Candle boys, dad and son out here? That would be really cool to see these guys go to the front and one of them win this race. I'm sure you would hear them screaming from wherever you are because that would be an amazing win for the both of them. So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, back to the race. We've got a lot of guys with damage right now, all on pit road. There's a bunch of cars on pit road. You've got Shad on pit road, Tyler Dohar on pit road, Papa Bear Campbell on pit road, Chris Murphy on pit road, JB Banner on pit road, Hunter Peach on pit road, Chris Murphy on pit road, Nate Lehman on pit road, Mike Allen on pit road, Chase McGuire on pit road, Zach Meredith, Jeff Ludnam, and Jake Banner all on pit road fixing damage from that wreck. So half the field is now on pit road.
On right now, this all helps out. It's Cole Snyder, Jose Ruiz, AC Wygent, James Mensch, Ryan McCall. I'm looking at the top 5 right now. All of these guys.
Pacey's been fast, so is Jose. So
Cole Snyder started 10th. He's up to 1st. Jose Ruiz started 16th. 2nd. They've all made tremendous gains, and right now this is the perfect spot for them.
Somebody's out in the chat. I think that's Duct Tape 914 says the 71 looks like the 71 turned to 79. I think that's actually the 17 of Zach Meredith, not the 71 of Papa Bear. But yeah, it was kind of back and forth. It looked like the 17 tried to shoot the middle gap once the 77 was blocked by the 79. And then the 77 went up and out of the way, which caused a little bit of a gap between the two front row drivers. The 17 looked like he might have thought to go in there, and 77 came down across his nose. So I don't know if the 17 technically turned him, but 77, 79, they were all kind of throwing blocks there. So
I think that's all just a racing incident. I don't really ever think you can put the blame on anybody because, because you kind of get stacked up on that outside line. Not like you can really stay with each other. At some point, once you kind of get stacked up, a couple guys get shoved out of line, and Zachary Meredith found himself in the middle line, and Tyler Dohar maybe tried to kind of keep that line behind him. Maybe he wasn't expecting that kind of run to come up the middle like that, or kind of just maybe just a result of kind of getting loose or the air. There's a number of different factors that come into play when you're 3 wide like that, and of course close to that, so there's probably a little bit of net code maybe that came into effect on that. But right now I'm actually taking a look at the points. Cole Snyder, who is in 5th, well, right now sitting in 1st. This would be a pretty big day in points for him if he's able to keep this up at the front of the field.
Yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of stuff come through on the chat. Looks like Q-Dog, he's out there enjoying his trip up to Ocean City, and he is dropping some bits. Thank you, Q-Dog, for the 24, the 22, and the 14. Those are his teammates, so he is dropping some bits for those guys' numbers. Wish you were out on track tonight, Q. I kind of wished, since you pushed Cole to a win, I would have thought Cole could have come out and pushed you to a win, but maybe next season. But somehow Cole has survived tonight, and he is out front. He was not the leader when this whole thing happened here, but he is now the leader. Did not pit that stop. Everybody else has pretty much got a little bit of damage here and there. 00 Pacey Wyden's truck doesn't look too bad. Jose Ruiz truck doesn't look too bad either. But then from there on, there's a few guys that have some good amount of damage. With no more fast repairs and turned down for what they got rid of it a few races ago, it definitely limits, the bad style of driving. As it looks like Josh Arnold's going to duck down pit road right now with 5 laps to go.
So the top 3 in points of Lehman, Arnold, and Hunter Peach currently running 11th, 12th, 13th. They came to the green flag there. So Cole Snyder, who is sitting in 5th, this is right now his big chance to really close in on those lead guys. The points, he's got to try and stay up at the front. He's got to try and stay out of trouble.
There were 4 more to go here. It's going to be huge here, but yeah, Eleanor, if you could put that in the chat, please. If you could put that link, I completely here. But I know Papa Bear in the 71 and the 11 of Mike Campbell Jr. are both racing for Papa Bear's daughter, which would be, I believe, Mike Campbell's sister. But they unfortunately had a family fire up in Michigan that took their house. So they're both racing for them for a. I can't remember what the link is. Eleanor, if you're able to put that in the chat. But yeah, they're trying to raise money to try to help them out. So, Eleanor, if you're able to put that link in the chat, I would appreciate it so people can click on that and try to donate money if they can. But yeah, horrible situation over the week or the late end of the week that happened. So, really glad all the Campbell family was safe though. So we'll get that link up here if we can and see if anybody out there can do any kind of donation to help out and do what they can. But we'll see if the 71 will get ready to come out here and win tonight. That would be a huge thing for them. So, but right now, Jose Ruiz out front in the 23. He just won his race Tuesday night in the Xfinity Series for the first time. So, Macy Wygen out here on the outside row trying to compete with the 94 pushing him. That would be a friend of his. Those two very much know each other. So, those two are definitely going to be pushing side by side or back or bumper to bumper. And that's actually their teammate. Chance Russell also right behind them. So that's three teammates lined up on the outside row trying to make up speed on that row or that line. And there's another couple drivers there that are switching lanes and they're almost making contact.
Peach
there,
just jumped to the outside line. He's got three other trucks with him on the outside line. However, only two are closer to him.
Wow. Hunter Peach has come from being a half lap back from this pack to now trying to lead the outside row to try to go for his win with 2 laps to go as we go through turns 3 and 4. We're going to come off of turn 4 and come to 1 to go, Riley. I don't know who's going to win this one. Is it going to be the guy in the front? Is it going to be somebody that sneaks through a caution coming off of turn 4 or out of turn 2? Is it going to be the third row that's trying to be built up?
Side by side, Hunter Peach drops down. Now he moves right back up, trying to lead the outside line. They're almost side by side with the second row, just not enough momentum. Now the 26 jumps down in line. That leaves Tyler Dohar out on that outside line, trying to lead it himself.
I think it's going to be a drag race off the corner if nobody spins each other. The problem is that group that's trying to form on the outside lane, they have Tyler Dohar, I believe, that's leading that pack, but he's got some damage on the front end. Or no, the 26, sorry, that's Hunter Peach. He's got some major damage in the front bumper and hood. That's going to really limit the air hitting that front and messing it up. So 94, 1, and 00 are really trying to push. And we're getting another truck.
Got trouble. 10 gets turned.
And it's going to stay green. We're going to go to the final lap coming through the tri-oval. Drag strip down the front, 3 wide. Another wreck. Who's it going to be? Oh, I don't know. Did Mike Campbell Jr. just win this race? We're going to have to go to the video on this one. I don't know who won this. I don't know if it was Cole or if it was Mike Campbell Jr. or Mike Campbell III coming from the back and coming through. We're going to have to take a double look at this one, so give me just a second as we go through here.
Right now, it looks like it's saying Snyder on the monitor here, but that's close.
Better camera angle. This one's really close up here. I don't know who won this, but it is super close. So we are on Mike Campbell III right now as they come through the tri-oval.
I'm trying to see if I can pause this at just the right moment.
That's what I'm doing too.
It still says Cole Snyder there on the results thing, but it's real hard to pause it.
Sideways. That might have been what stopped him from winning.
I think that is.
So you can see them there side by side with Cole up in the air. That's as they come across the finish line.
It's just that contact there. I think
there it is. It's a half a car. That was so close.
I think
but Cole Snyder
the contact with Cole Snyder is contact with Cole Snyder and between Cole Snyder and Campbell III, that contact is what gave Cole Snyder this win.
Yeah. But, I mean, congratulations to Mike Campbell III. He's going to make the podium spot, comes back up through the field, 1 lap down, comes from the back all the way back up through here, survives 2 wrecks coming on the final lap, comes to the end here, and he's going to lose by half a car, trying to raise money for his sister with this. So, anybody out there who has that link, I don't have it on my hand or on hand. If I can get that link posted in here, I'd be very much grateful if you guys can get it in there. So, let me take a break real quick and grab the three and bring them up here to the booth, and we'll be right back to talk to those top three. All right, we are back here. Sorry, I was still trying to look at the numbers to see how close this was. We've got Cole up here. We've got Pacey up here. We'll get Mike Campbell the third up here in a second. All right, I got those three. Pacey, you got a copy, buddy. Pacey, got a copy, buddy. Can anybody hear
Hello.
Pacey? All right, there you are. All
Hey.
right. You make it through one of the crashes on the final lap. Then the second one you get involved in too. You still come home third tonight. Overall, I mean, at least from the broadcaster's point, it was a little boring up here watching you guys run, but it was a clean race. We enjoyed the clean racing. You guys weren't really making those dicey, horrible decision moves that a lot of guys make in the first 10 laps of the race and ruin it. With turn down for what, taking away the fast repairs. I want to know first, did that play into this at all? Do you think it played into
I'm
it?
I mean, I'm sure it did for other guys. For me, it didn't. I had a plan. I was going to go to the front and stay with the front the entire time. Whether my teammates decided to come to the front with me or not, that's where I was going. But luckily, they took my side and they all went to the front with me. So,
So with you guys being together, we saw Tyler Dohart and Jose Ruiz bounce out to the outside row several times by themselves. Did you guys ever think to jump out there with them to go against the four strong of Cole Snyder and Josh Arnold? That whole group that was up front, Zach Meredith. Did you guys ever think to jump out there with those two and create a six-car pack on the outside row versus a four-car pack on the inside row?
no,
No.
we never thought about it. We were just sitting there trying to really just see what the, I guess, J-Palm militia or whatever the top four were going to do. That way they couldn't, catch us off guard with a strategy. So we
Gotcha.
were we were just pretty content riding.
Well, we saw you and James there at the end of the race, and I was thinking, I was like, wow, I was like, those two really know each other. This should be really interesting. I would have thought James would push you to the end, but we saw the inside row get a little bit of wobble, and the third car back in the bottom line turned right up in front. I think that was Ryan McCall that was turned right in front of Shad, I believe, and that kind of started a big chain reaction there. But just a great overall run for you guys. The four of you, or five of you, led them. James, Murphy, Shad, you guys were all up front most of the race, competing with the four guys that were really really fast together that know each other very well. Um, what else could you have done to make it through that little bit of a hiccup at the end?
Uh, tell you the truth, I'm not sure. When I watched the replay, it just kind of seemed like it was just hard racing going for the win. I come down, I hit Jose, and then I don't know. I think somebody ended up getting in the back of Snyder and spinning him across us. I think we would have actually got the win had that not happened, but P3's still better than outside top 5, right?
Yeah, well, you make it back now for Talladega. Had your baby. Um, Obviously, congratulations on that. It's been a few months now, or well, yeah, a few months, 2 months. Um, but
Almost 3 months.
yeah, 3 months.
Almost three
Okay,
months.
so a few months. But making it back for Talladega, I know the whole group loves super speedways. Don't necessarily like the racing sometimes, but I really enjoyed it up here with Riley. Any shout outs for you?
Yeah, actually, all my teammates, especially James there at the end. I'm the one that brought him into the whole league here last race. I guess that would be like what 3 weeks ago now. And he didn't have greatest of showings last time out, but I'm glad he got a good top 5 this time. And I I'm pretty sure my dad's watching, so I'd like to shout out to him. Thanks for watching if you are.
He might be watching, but he did not comment, so I can't tell you if he is watching or not.
He never comments on this stuff. He just watches.
Gotcha. Well, like I said, great race for you guys. All really running well. A lot of you finishing well. You're P3. James was P5. Shab was P8. And then obviously Lednum and Murphy got taken out for a couple of different accidents there. So, but yeah, good showing by you guys on a super speedway. Really working well together. Going into next week's race, um, which I will not be here for, as I'm headed up for Shad's wedding. So won't be here for that, but that will be Indy. So any I guess advice or what's your strategy, or you gonna make it for Indy? Anything like that?
Yeah, I'll be here for Indy. But one quick thing. I just gotta say, dang, I was getting on the pit road real nice tonight.
No mess ups. You did miss your
No,
pit box, by the way. I did notice that. I caught that on
y-
stream, so don't try to hide
all
that
right,
one.
shh, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, I caught it on stream. So I saw you go in pit entry, and I was like, wow, what a move. He goes to the inside, he passes everybody, and slides across the line without getting a penalty, and then you make it to your pit box and blow it. So,
Sounds about right. Sounds like me.
but good job tonight. Catch you next week, or I guess I'll catch whoever's streaming next week, as I will not be here. But good luck.
Mm.
All right, Riley, before you take second place, which is Mike Campbell the third, I just noticed that Big Papa Bear was able to put the link to the GoFundMe into the chat. Appreciate Papa Bear putting that in there. I know the 71 and 11 were running for this GoFundMe for Papa Bear's daughter. Definitely, if you can, go to this GoFundMe, drop what you can. I know with everything going on with all these gas prices and all this inflation and everything else, it's hard, but it's a family that just lost a lot of their house. Pretty much everything inside the house, from what I understand, was pretty much destroyed. So, whatever you can do to help out, go donate. Whatever it is, if it's $5, if it's $20, if it's whatever you can do, um, go and try to help out this family. Papa Bear, obviously the owner of Turn Down for What, does a ton for these guys here. We try to put on a show every week that we can between Sundays and Tuesdays. So please go out there and try to help his daughter out and her family try to get back on their feet and just survive for as long as they can until this house can get fixed back up. But Riley, go ahead and take second place. Mike Campbell the third, running the 11 car tonight.
Hey, Mike Campbell, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
And so, started 11th, finished in second. You also found yourself in ninth, and you were so close to winning, one spot short. Can you just walk us through on the last couple laps? Because we were really cheering, we were really rooting for you there. Just came up one spot short.
After I fought to try to stay on the lead lap, I messed up at the first pit stop, but it put me a lap down. But when I got that lucky dog, I just stayed running that bottom lane best as I could. I do want to apologize to the 24 there at the end for bumping into him. That was complete accident. It's a lot of bumping and running. But I just tried to hold that bottom line best as I could. As soon as everyone started beating and banging, I got hit a couple of times. I thought it was over, but finished across the line sliding sideways.
I think if your car stayed straight there, you would have just had him by an inch, maybe. But it was definitely a real close finish between you and Cole Snyder. So also, earlier in the race you did fall a lap down and just hung near the back for a while, and then got back on the lead lap with those late cautions. Kind of where did that trouble really come from?
When I did the first pit stop, I went in. I slid a little too far past pit stall, had to do a quick backup to get in there. And when I was doing my tire selections, I forgot to uncheck my right side, so that put me back a lot.
Well, you had a great rebound, finishing second, and just by a few inches. Got any shout outs?
Yeah, I want to shout out to my family. Hopefully, they can get this all put together to get their house back and start the rebuild for them. And I want to shout out to Turn Down for What for my dad for everything he does for this league and all the participators that join in and cheer everyone on and participate. It's just amazing seeing how far his league has gone, and it's good to run in here with him.
Great job.
All right. Well, Mike, definitely big prayers for you guys within the Campbell family for helping your sister trying to get back on their feet and get that house built. I know they're having issues with staying an hour away, so like I said, whatever anybody can do on that GoFundMe, please try to do whatever you can. But I was, yeah, like Riley was saying, I was cheering you guys on. Not that I didn't want to really see anybody else win, but I knew what you guys were racing for, and I knew you and your dad have tandemed at iRacing Superspeedway several times, and you guys have won a few races together, tandeming like that. And I was hoping you two would get hooked together and see if that magic could happen tonight. Incredible drive by you going a lap down, coming all the way back through the field. You hung in there until the final 10 laps to get that lucky dog, and then come all the way through the field at the end of the race and finish second by 0.012, about a half a car. Is what we froze it on to where Cole was touching the finish line as you were sliding right next to him sideways. So I think Riley's right. If you were pointed straight, you might have clipped Cole by the fraction of a bumper. But it was a very close race. Congratulations on you coming through and really putting a lot of skill on track. It really shows you guys work a lot of super speedways. But I know you were fighting and racing for another reason tonight, and it would have been really cool to see you guys get that win. But coming home second, I mean, that's still a big deal. These guys here at Turn Down for What for super speedways. I mean, the five guys that have the most restrictor plate wins in trucks were pretty much at the front most of the night. So, and coming to the finish line, you had three of them at the front. So, pretty good for you to still come home second.
Thank you.
But that's going to end tonight's broadcast. I'm just kidding, Cole. Bringing another another restrictor plate win. Colt, you take over from what I'm looking at. Unless Nate's stats are wrong, which I know he's a teacher, so this is probably not wrong. But you are now the most restrictor plate wins in the Truck Series. You bring it home first tonight. You led some laps in the beginning of the race. Through that after the first green flag stops, kind of, and then you worked your way back up through. Got caught up in that first big caution there. Had some back end damage. Still was really fast and was able to get back up to the field. You're bringing home victory tonight. Your boy Q was out there in the chat cheering you on, calling you the Super Speedway GOAT, as I kept calling your teammate J-Paw the Super Speedway Guru. So now we have the Super Speedway Guru and the Super Speedway GOAT. But I'm going to probably say you took a lot of J-Paw's teachings. But Zach Meredith is probably going to take a little bit of credit of that too, since you guys all run together. But you were all super fast. Give us a rundown of your race.
I'm still shocked how I won that thing. I got hit. I was looking at the sky coming across the line, I think, at one point. But the race was good. I mean, I like when they stay green. Some strategy gets involved in staying out a little longer than other people. You always want to take less fuel at the end of these things. That's always the goal. But man, just a lot of teamwork tonight. I love the team I race with. I love my boys out there. They're always supportive and just I don't know how I'm winning these restricted blade things. I can never finish these races, but somehow lately I've been getting them done. And just shout out to the whole group of guys tonight, man. Keeping that green for that long, that's awesome.
Well, this would be your third Truck Series win and moves you into a tie with your teammate Josh Arnold for second most victories in the Truck Series, both with 3, all chasing Hunter Peach with 8. Obviously, he's was really fast in season 1. Hasn't really put in the numbers this season compared to last season, but I think it's because the rest of you guys in this field saw how fast he was last season, and you guys have all stepped it up. And for you, J-Paw, Nate Lehman, Q, Zach, you guys all are just stepping up skill and being really fast. It's hard to beat you guys every week. So I can tell why Hunter does not have as many wins with you guys getting as many wins as you guys have this season. So great job by you. Great job by the team. You guys led a lot of laps as the front 4. I wasn't sure if you guys were going to be able to come back by. I believe it was Shad and Pacey and them on the second green flag stops. But you guys went right on by him with faster speed. We couldn't figure out how you guys had. At one point, J-Paw was leading that pack, and it was like 195 was the speed. And the lead car on the inside row was at 185. So you guys were almost 10 mile an hour faster on the outside row somehow. But I think it's just because you guys were linked together a little better. So, but I mean, yeah, like I said, congratulations on another win. Moving into the most restrictor plate wins, moving into second for most wins, or second most wins in the Truck Series. Next week is Indy. Technically, that's classified as another super speedway, or at least per the stats that Nate is showing me here. Going into Indy, what are you expecting? What's your strategy? And what, I guess, are you good at Indy?
I'm decent at Indy. It's gonna be hard to beat J-Paw. We all know how that goes. So he'll be the one to beat. But as long as we can keep it clean and not smoke the outside walls, I think we'll be all right.
J-Paw's good at Indy? I thought it was just Pocono.
He's good at all those weird
No.
tracks.
Yeah, I've been saying it for a while that Josh has definitely stepped up his game and he's become more of an all around driver. We saw him all the time as a super speedway guy. That's why I always call him the super speedway guru. But he seems to be fast at a lot of tracks. So I would definitely follow Josh at most tracks and figure out what he's doing. He seems to be really fast at short tracks, mile and a half, super speedways, the goofy ones like you're talking about, and he's getting better at road courses. So I would definitely follow him around for a little while and figure out what he's doing. But
Yeah, good thing he's my teammate.
yeah, that definitely helps. So, but yeah, like I said, Q out there saying 24 CDR, Super Speedway Goat, drop some bits for you with your number. He's out in Ocean City or whatever. So,
Love you,
said he
Q
was
Dog.
eating-
Thanks for the
said he
support
was
as
eating
always.
Clams and oysters, which he can eat all those he wants. I won't eat them. So, but yeah, congratulations to your whole team and yourself winning tonight. Any shout outs for you?
Hey, thanks, man. Shout out to everyone in the league. Like I said, keeping it green for how long? That's pretty awesome. Shout out to Papa Bear for running this thing. The Cold Dog Racing Boys. We got Josh Arnold, Nathan Lehman, Zach Meredith out there helping out tonight. Q Dog and just enjoying the beach. So shout out to those boys. And like I said, everyone, thanks for broadcasting this thing. Just pretty excited right now.
Yeah, looking at the points, looks like you're still in fourth, but you closed in a little bit. Looks like Layman's still out front. Josh Arnold's second, Hunter Peach third, and you're fourth. So, if that's accurate, I don't know if they've been updated yet, but looks like you've closed in a little bit. So, going into the final final 5 races now. Still have a shot at this thing. So good luck on the rest of the season. Good luck next week at Indy. Like I said, unfortunately, I will not be able to stream that race. So we'll get that information out this week to see who's able to stream that. If not, then I'll catch you guys the following week, which I believe is Bristol. So that's another J-Paw track. So we'll see what happens there too. But yeah, thank you for everybody coming out here. Papa Bear, you in the booth? Looks like you are. Papa Bear, you there?
Don't think so.
Yeah, I see him in the broadcast booth. I just don't see his mic moving. Mike the third. I don't know if you can tell your dad to answer.
On it.
So give us just a second here. We'll get Papa Bear, the owner, back in here. Get him to give a little explanation of what he was putting in the chat there, the GoFundMe. Give a little more information on that. And then just anything he has to say for tonight's race.
Update about Papa Bear. He is on the phone with the people up north with the fire.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Well, Mike, can you give us any more information? Maybe a description of what the GoFundMe is about.
What the GoFundMe is about is to help with like the reconstruction of the house, and right now that I know of, it's got a lot of wiring damage from the fire. Windows got blown out. I do know the siding. I don't know underneath the siding how much got damaged. I do know it has a lot of water damage from the fire trucks. As of right now, that's all I know.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, like I said, try to click that link if you can. We'll put the link out on my Twitter. I'll try to put it on the Facebook page and the YouTube page as well. But definitely, like I said, if you have not seen that link, I'll repost it right now. Definitely go out there and try to donate to the GoFundMe to help out the Campbell family. Try to get some money in there for them and try to get them through this tough time. Everybody, like I said, next week I will not be able to stream, so we'll get that information put out there to see who's going to stream next week. Riley, really thank you for coming in tonight. I really appreciate you coming in, and it was a fun race to do with you. If you're able to come in at any time the rest of the season, obviously you are more than welcome. We got Indy, we got Bristol, we got Michigan coming up, we got Charlotte, and we got Auto Club. So
Now Charlotte and Auto Club, I can definitely make those races.
all right. Well, I know Pete was not able to make it, and I think he might not be able to make it for the rest of the season. He's got some big things going on, so excited for him and his wife there. And I'll see if I can grab anybody else to come in for those races. But definitely appreciate all you guys out there in the chat. I think we were up to like 27 at one point tonight, or 28. So really appreciate all the viewers. Really appreciate everybody coming out and watching this league. Really appreciate Papa Bear for putting it on, letting me come out and broadcast it. It's been a fun 4 seasons I think I've done with Turned Down for What. So really appreciate everybody out there, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks at Bristol Motor Speedway. See who can come home with that victory. So thank you, everybody, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks.